Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? I'm Enrique. This is Easy Pictures to Draw. Hopefully you're having a really great day. This video is going to be dedicated to caricatures. This channel is entirely about caricatures and drawing cute stuff. The cute stuff I think you can incorporate into your little goofy, like caricature backgrounds, I think. But I would say it's about 70% cute stuff, 30% caricatures. That's the way the channel's been lately. This is a caricature video, and I'm going to go over in this video, this is going to be a talking one. I'm going to talk to you about my experience in the theme park, and I'm going to talk about the first 2 weeks of training that they gave us when you kind of go to try out for the job. So, because the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of people have been asking about it, and I just want to go over my experience and the experience of other people that kind of went through that as well. So, also, before I forget, if you do want to, keep up with caricature stuff, if you want to keep up with, how to draw cute stuff, I teach this thing about maybe twice a week, and please subscribe. Go to the bottom right here, click the subscribe, and also check that little mark so it gives you a notification. It's that little bell mark. So let's get to the point. The training that I had, let me give you a preface first. Let me give you a little bit of a starter thing. I went into this job and I already knew how to draw. I had been trained in life drawing. By that I mean with charcoal pencil, a model sitting there for 3 hours. We did do quick sketches, but it was very different. It was more fine art. That was the background I had, and then I went into this and it was cartoony. It was more line art based. We had to use a marker. We couldn't erase, right? There is just a friggin' marker. And also you expect to do it in 5 to 10 minutes, That's what you're expected to do. Like I said, in reality it's probably like 15 minutes, but you just say 5. People lose track of time. But that was the background I had. I had never drawn a caricature because I was kind of freaked out by the whole thing, It was like, wow, this is weird, Somebody's gonna be watching me and they're gonna pay me to do this right in front of them. It's like, woo. I was freaking out that first time. So, those 2 weeks of training, I want to say something about those 2 weeks of training. Those 2 weeks of training are just a complete and utter starter to the whole process. They just wanted to see if we were good enough, and then the learning comes from within the park. The learning comes from sitting next to someone who's been doing it for about a summer or a year. That's where the real learning comes in. And then the learning comes through repetition of drawing different types of faces. There is a standard caricature, and they called it like cuticature. Or genericature. There's a lot of these caricature terms that people came up with that represent that. And I've talked about another video, so I'm not going to go over it again, but basically if you did a cuter version, a more generic version, it offends less people, it pleases most people, and you sell a lot more, they're faster to do, and you make more money. And then there's the other side. They are, real caricatures where, you exaggerate very specific things on them and you try to do it for the art of. It takes longer and you have more of a risk of offending that person. And because it takes longer and you might offend someone and they don't pay you, you're making way less money. That's the general rule. I've known some guys to completely go over that. Like they do such a crazy one that he gets this crazy tip or something. So, but generally that's the way it works. So first 2 weeks, let me tell you the format that I went through, and the format changes a lot. So it changes from park to park as well. I worked in SeaWorld San Diego in roughly around 2000, I want to say 2007? I can't remember what year. 2007, 2008? That's where I kind of first came into it. And the way it worked, it was 6 days. It was 2 weeks, 6 days. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 weeks. And honestly, that last day, the last Friday, was not even a full day. And even the first day, first Monday, it was a lot of paperwork, kind of filled junk out. Then they go over, and I'm just doing this stuff from memory, like I said, they might have changed it, different parks, different people ran it different ways. But the way it worked was you're supposed to bring one person with you. And there was, I want to say about 15 other people, that were trying for this artist position. And it wasn't like there was a limited amount of positions. If everybody got it, everybody got in. But, not everybody was going to get in. And what they really wanted to know, the main thing about this, is they want to know if you were good enough to learn it. Not, did you learn it in 2 weeks? They wanted to know if you were good enough to learn. Because like I said, the learning comes from repetition. And it comes from repeating stuff within the park. That's really where the learning comes from. The training, like I said, day one, I remember drawing a lot of demonstration from them. And then we did line stuff, mostly. We did line control, like they would do exercises, and I actually have on this channel the thick to thin lines that we were getting used to with that marker. That was pretty much most of the first day, and then we did, like, I believe a head or something. Oy, my phone. Oh my God. Sorry. Anyways, what was I saying? Okay, day one was pretty chill, not a lot. Day two, we were really doing this musical chair thing with the people that we brought and the people that they brought, and we were drawing different heads, more demonstration, mostly head drawings, and they were teaching us how to start them. You know, like, where do you start? Because there's different looks to different eras of caricatures and based on who's training. So in the old days, I would say maybe in the 90s, the look was gigantic head. Like, I mean, huge, almost fills a whole page, and like a tiny body. And that's a cool look. Some people still do that. But they taught us different. They taught us the heads were moderately big and the bodies are, you know, will take up the rest of the page. So I would say, like, in the old days, it was like, you know, the really old era, it felt more like 75% of like a head and then like 25% of a body. And these were more like 60% of a head and 40% of a body. That if there was a body. They were a little bit different. So they taught us about that. And I actually have another video on that. I'm gonna put all these videos in the description, by the way. I have another video talking about that, how you start the head. Some people start it from features first out, and then some people start it from the head shape in. And that's kind of what we went over the second day. The third day, I believe we went over bodies a little bit. We just kind of touched on it. And you know, there's a lot of goofy standard bodies for that theme park. So if you were working at the zoo, you would draw a lot of animals, right? You draw, I mean, like pandas and junk like that, otters. Well, actually, we drew otters too. So, you know, whatever's at the zoo. And they had to know a lot more animals too. I was at SeaWorld. The standard was Shamu, you know, the orca whales, the dolphins, the turtles, a couple of otters, but those are like it, really. Those are the four big ones. You know, shark is awesome. I love the shark. Those were the standard. So since I was doing this at SeaWorld, it was in a kind of a tiny building on the back of SeaWorld, I believe we did it in. And kind of behind the parking lot. I remember this. It was a really small, separate building. And we went over those type of bodies. So we went over those type of bodies and kind of how to do that. A lot of demonstration, more musical chairs, more moving around. I believe the next Monday, it was, we went over color, like how to color and what they use, the color sticks. I don't have anything about that right now on my channel, but I am going to put that on the course. Kind of what to use. I mean, I'll tell you right now what we used. We used color sticks. They're Prismacolor. I believe they were just called Prismacolor color sticks, if you look for that. They look like pastel. It just looked like this square block, but it's much less messy than pastel. It's much less rubbery. I don't know how to say it. It's just less messy. I don't know how to say it. Way less messy. They're pretty expensive though to buy in a big pack. They would just give it to us for free at work, right? Because we needed it. But that was like that day. And you have to understand that was the first Monday of the second week. You have to understand by this time, they're already kicking people out. Like, you're looking like this person I was talking to a while ago, he's gone. So if I'm still there, it's good. And I'm like, that's weird. And they'll just tell you, and I don't know, I still haven't talked to the boss about that. they'll just tell you that they just decided to not show up again. They decided not to go through it. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're kicking people out. It was obvious. And then the second to last day, I believe, was a lot of that stuff. A lot of just, how to say it, mileage. Just more drawing, more drawing. They want to see if you can get used to it. Like I said, if you're doing it, and I came from an artist background, if you're doing it, you're new to the marker, you're gonna suck. It's gonna be garbage. It's gonna be trash. There's no way around that. I never saw anybody just come in and just get it real fast, you know? And And then the last day would be like, hey, you made it, that kind of thing. I believe there's 4 of us. I think I did my training with one person that I still talk to now, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The last day was more of a celebratory day. You made it, blah, blah. We signed some more papers to officially make it, blah, blah, blah. A lot of technical mumbo jumbo. But the whole point of this is that standard thing, I mean, that's already available on this website. That standard training is pretty much on my YouTube, honestly. Everything they taught us there. And that standard look comes from, you know, the basic training. You know, it's really easy to get that standard look. Like I said, I recommend you just draw a lot of faces, a lot of faces. And I'm gonna talk about this in this program. I wanna like really talk, you know, and I've mentioned this on other channels, like what do you do with this? You know, what do you do about that? Like you have to draw a lot of people. And I think the first thing to do is go to a public place and just start doing them for free, like line drawings. Don't do color junk, just do line drawings. That's what I did. I did it on a college campus, and I didn't do it at like a university. I did it at a junior college because I knew there's more variety in ages there. I thought it'd be less pressure on me. And since it was free, I just said, yo, I'll just let me take a picture of this, you know what I mean, for my portfolio, and I'll just give you the drawing, you know, if you just sit there for a few minutes. And that was really quick, great. I got a picture out of it. You know, like, you know, and I can see my progression as it goes along through that picture. And like, I don't know, I'll go into that a lot later, but that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my training. And I want to emphasize that the training wasn't really